The BallGame Blitz Sports Network by Worthy Road Studios. With over 750,000 views in 2022, we are where you need to advertise. Please subscribe to our Worthy Road Studios YouTube channel and join the other 4,000 subscribers watching local sports.
The Jackson Rockabillys, Union and Bethel Universities, USJ, TCA, JCS, and Peabody.
Our multi-camera broadcasts include slow motion instant replay, on-screen scoreboard and graphics, and professional announcers.
Thanks to the sponsors who make it all possible. BallGame Blitz Sports Network by Worthy Road Studios, the premier sports broadcast network in West Tennessee.
And live from the Hub City Deli, the most electrifying high school sports show in America, the Jackson Christian Eagles Show, with Coach Darby Palmer, Brian Bullard, and a whole cast of fine players. And we'll be talking to two other coaches, Coach Tony Schutz and, of course, Kyle Teichman tonight, two fine young men. We come in here after a big victory over really a good Lake County team. They had come into the game with 4 wins and only 3 losses, but they had won 4 straight. And the Eagle defense, Darby, rose to the occasion again.
Absolutely, and Coach Phillips had them on point with our game plan. And from the start, they really brought a lot of energy and executed at a high level, and we were able to tackle well. And I think that stood out.
It really did. Brian, on the quarterbacking scene, Austin Kelly, what now has 29 passes, which every time he throws one, it's a single-season school record.
Yeah, he's continued to improve and continue to show that he has a good feel for the offense. He and Coach Reichert spend a ton of time together, and it helps to have good athletes on the other end catching the ball. But when he puts the ball in the money like that, it gives our guys a good chance to go make a play. And you said it, 29 times is an impressive number, and we hope to continue to build on that. Aaron Smith is a guy that he passed, and what a great senior year he had,
and a guy that he looks up to.
Yeah, that's the thing, is it's one of his. I don't know if about a mentor at that age, but he really looks up to Aaron, and got to be on the sidelines for some of those games, and just a big time feat for him.
It really is, and of course, we don't really have the great stats that because it's hard to keep on the offensive line, but the number of sacks this year. Young men like we've got one of that fearless 5 right here, Hunter Waldrop, tonight. What a job your offensive line is doing, Darby.
Absolutely. I think you go back to Austin, how well he's reading the defense and how able he's get the ball out fast and on target to our receivers. But our offensive line, we keep going back to it almost every other show, how about they were a big question mark going into the year, and now they're becoming one of our strengths. Yeah. Just because it's 5 to 8 guys that work hard, that are program guys, and they bought into everything that we've told them, and now they're succeeding on a high level.
And most of the time they're outsized, Brian, and yet they give me more enthusiasm. They give more energy into it. And I'm going to tell you something. You guys have been working them hard. The technique is great for these young guys.
There's not many football games, Coach. We're going to be the bigger team, and they embrace that. You can just tell, going up against the Trenton Peabodys and the Good Pastures and just – even North Point, some of the linemen that they had, our guys, they're not intimidated, and the technique is what pulls them through, their technique and their heart. And it's like we talked about with Tristan last week, we'll talk about with Hunter this week, just everyday drills that they go through. And when you got a guy that like Coach Reichert who anytime, anywhere believes that he can win and he can put a group of linemen out there that can get it done, and so far – these guys have gotten it done.
Oh, absolutely. Coach, got to talk about this. You've got an extra weapon with Zach Cisco now. I believe 7 kickoffs in the end zone, and he's really rounding into form and making teams go 80 yards. That's the way you want it.
Absolutely, especially in high school football, making a team sustain drives and go 80 yards like you talked about. He's a weapon, but he's also a weapon in the punting game as well.
Absolutely. He can pooch punt it. He can also directional, however you want to say it, and then he can launch some good ones, and things are happening there. The defensive secondary, I'm going to say something that y'all can flinch, get on to me. No matter who you put in that secondary, our secondary has played hard. And, guys, last year you played hard, but this secondary has taken it to another level.
And a lot of those secondary guys that you're talking about are upperclassmen guys or guys that have gotten a lot of snaps. And so we expect that at a high level in our secondary. And going through all the checks and different coverages that we have, they do a really good job of communicating. And a few guys like Blake Rowland, Jack Collins, Trent Carrier, those guys have stepped up into leadership roles for our defense, and it's been fun to watch.
Absolutely. And, of course, our linebacking core has been excellent, and Kai's all over the place, but he's got some help. Now, I know for a fact that WNWS, and, folks, I would love to vote, but I have to disqualify myself because I am the voice of the Eagles. They could not decide, and I think they made the correct decision. They gave their Player of the Week award to 2 young men. And Easton with the fumble the interception, and Easton does so much. And then he blocked a punt, and then Caleb was all over the place. And I'm going to let you know a little secret. Could have easily been a 3-way tie. Big Cedric got great consideration. Did you know the range he had the other night? He was even out there in the C gap making tackles and stuff. 3 fine young men, 2 of them got Player of the Week, and they evidently found something to make a final decision on.
Well, you hit on Cedric, and Cedric, when we sat down this offseason, said, hey, we got to get to here and change your body a little bit and slim down, and he's done that. He's done a great job. He's mobile. He's moving, and it's a testament to him and his work ethic, but he's reaping the benefits of that.
And I think you're going to see him playing on Saturday at some school. I understand through what I heard through the coaching scouting grapevine that I go through that one of the schools, and I can't think of it, Oklahoma, has shown some interest in him. And, of course, it's a little early for players that are bringing it all and improving over. But he's going to get some look-sees, and we know that Daniel Green's already got his look-see, and he's decided where he wants to go help. But we've got several young men to be looked at, but people don't forget we got a young squad.
That's right. And we, especially you talk about our linebackers. All of our linebackers come back. A lot of our secondary guys come back. And so we're excited about that defense as a whole for generations to come. You're going to have one that you're going to interview tonight, Mason Vaughn, where you talk about a Swiss Army knife. He can do a whole lot of things, offensive side, defensive side, but especially in special teams as well.
Yeah, he can throw the football, and I'm going to tell you what, last year he was one of our interception leaders. Now, Jack passed him, Jack Collins, who was a master of that and still is. And we have good secondary people coming back. Now, we spread the touchdowns out pretty evenly. I think Jalen had 3 and then had a couple of guys with 2. Green, y'all correct me if I'm wrong, Collins. Then we had some with 1. And if you hadn't been so kind, we could have had more.
Well, that's what's gonna separate, I think, determine our success down the stretch, and obviously starts with Harding Academy being able to use all those weapons. Obviously, getting Daniel involved is a safety blanket for Austin, being a big target. But Jack to come on and keep contributing there. Trent got a carry. Deuce continues to get better in the backfield, and you love for Everett Scott to get a couple carries and get another touchdown as a senior, guy that's put in no telling how many reps as a scout team guy in practice and all of those things, and you love to see that kind of culmination. But that's going to be the difference, because you know that they're going to do things to try to take Jalen away, and that's okay. We've seen that, and against TRA they played kind of an orthodox coverage, and we had 4 or 5 guys score touchdowns, and so to win a game, and obviously when you get into your region and then down the road in the playoffs, you have to be able to put it all together in all 3 phases, and it's not one guy, and it's just a group effort, and Austin was able to find these guys, and they were able to use their talent, get in the end zone. And sorry, Coach. But,
oh no, absolutely.
Easton could very easily be up there and get a ton of carries, and Deuce is carrying that load right now, and so we're excited about this group and what we can continue to do.
Absolutely. Paul, we may need 1 extra minute. He's listening over there. An 8-0 start, one of the best, matter of fact, it is the best in the school's history. Kids are staying focused. We had a good senior night. Can you kind of combine that and talk about all 3 of those things?
Yeah. This group of seniors, when we talked about it at practice on Thursday, you talk about leaving a legacy at a school, and these seniors have done that. It's a fine group of young men that we know are going to go out and do great things, but they're always going to be Eagles, and we're proud of that. 8-0 start, best in school history. We've gotten there so far by doing the little things right, focusing one game at a time, not making anything bigger than it is. And so we're tunnel vision, and we're focused on Harding Academy and what we can do Friday night in Memphis.
Absolutely. That's all that matters. What about Harding Academy now? One thing that concerned me, not about our team, but the film I've gotten hold of, they'll onside kick, and they've got nothing to lose at this point. They have gone for it on fourth down. They put one of the quarterbacks, the younger one, in there, and some things like that. So your thoughts before we change on Harding Academy?
So Harding Academy is a team that each year they're going to try to rebuild that program and get it back to where it was when Coach Riker was there and they were playing in the state championship game. I think it was his junior year. So it's a program that's seen a ton of talent come in, and we know that they're in the process of rebuilding it. It's a team that we can't take lightly because they're the next team on our schedule, and we have to focus in on the game plan on all three phases of the game because, like you said, they're going to go for it on fourth down and kind of backed up spots on the field. They may onside kick it, and we have to be prepared for that, and we have to go play ball.
Absolutely. We are here at Hub City Deli. We're fixing to make a change, and you're going to hear one of the finest pound for pound, 190 pounds of twisted steel coming over here. Young man I love, Hunter Waldrop, but get down here to Hub City Deli. Great sandwiches. Tony Schutz is signing autographs over there, and he'll pay you to take his picture. And but we're going to take a timeout and come back and have more fun on the Jackson Christian Eagle Show.
Psst, buddy, I'm not feeling too good after all this summer heat.
Yeah, me either. I think I'm about to blow a coil.
Let McCoy's Heating and Air give your unit a little TLC. Maintenance is the key to staying worry-free. Right now, schedule a one-time cleaning for only $90. Call 731-668-7492 or visit airmccoy.com.
McCoy's got us in great shape, unlike that guy.
Jackson's most trusted team of technicians. York and McCoy's Heating and Air.
It just gets better and better here at Hub City Deli on the Jackson Christian Eagle Show. We've got both of our basketball coaches here. We got a full house, but guess what? We can find you a table, plus we got some outside. You can come and see some of the finest young men. Now, again, I'm going to introduce this young man. His name is Hunter Waldrop. He is 5'11". He is a couple of pounds now, over 190, but there is not 1 ounce of fat on it. He is twisted steel is what he is. He's been at Jackson Christian for a while, and we're going to turn it over. And first quiz is from Coach Bullard. He's going to give him a football grilling.
Hunter, thank you for being here with us tonight. And just like Tristan and Ty and those guys, you don't have individual stats as far as offense goes, but I love to recognize the fact that Hunter is a key component of an offense that's rushed for 1,200 yards and thrown for almost 2,200 yards and putting up really good numbers. And Hunter, this is the question that I ask all of our offensive linemen when they get that first one. What is it like to be a part of that group, and what makes this group of offensive linemen, not just the 5 that start the game, but the guys that come in off the field, off the bench, and the young guys that put work in practice? What makes that group so special?
Well, we all just we talk a lot to each other. We help each other out on certain stuff. Like some plays, if we mess up, we got each other's back, And I know they're my brothers. I'm there for them. They're there for me.
So what is, what's it like out there in the huddle? Is it the joking around, like you guys seem to have that relationship on the field during the game? Is it that, or is it more of a serious demeanor while you're out there? Or is it a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. It depends on, how we're doing so far in the game and, how the senior leaders are acting out there and stuff like Ty and Hudson. They're real key there. They're always, they set the tone for us.
So you're a junior. Who is a guy in our program, maybe that's already graduated, who's a guy that you look up to, maybe work ethic-wise, maybe it was how they were a good teammate, how they played the game? Who's a guy that sticks out in your mind that you try to remember as you are getting close to being a senior and one of the upperclassmen on our team?
So somebody who's probably graduated already?
Yeah.
I probably would say C.J. Carrier. He taught me a lot of stuff, about, just being patient and stuff. You can't just be so quick to being mad and be, with your temper.
So a guy that was, I wouldn't call him undersized. He's a big dude, but he wasn't as heavy weight-wise as some guys. So he learned how to use his body right and do all that. Is that something that you picked up from CJ, or is that talk a little bit about your success as a lighter lineman out there?
Well, yeah, CJ did teach me some things, because he was a bit taller than me, so I'd always have to play low against him. And I also picked up some things from Liam Cox, and he was an undersized lineman. He, I watched how he played, and I was impressed.
You'll get Coach Reichert excited talking about Liam Cox now. So that's a great guy to learn from, and definitely just a mindset for that. Coach, I'm gonna have one more thing for him, then you can ask him some good stuff. But talk about how you've changed your body, because yes, you're getting close to 200 pounds, but you put on a lot of weight, and you put on a lot of good weight. So talk about what's led to that, and what do you attribute that to?
Well, first of all, playing line. When I first started playing line, I knew I was going to be undersized, and there was a lot of work I had to do. But I wanted to stay quick, but I also wanted to be strong. And I talked to Coach Irv, and he really helped me, put on a couple more pounds, help me get me. I'm not done. I'm still trying to put on some more.
That's right. Did you have fun playing defense Friday night?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love defense.
He did great too.
We'll have to get those guys in there a little bit more, Coach.
Oh, absolutely. Got to ask you, what's your favorite block that you make? Is it I have different terminology. Do you like the scoop block? Do you like to come down on the linebacker, or depending on and I want you to talk about how don't tell how you communicate, but the communication is very good. So it's your turn to teach them a little line play.
All right. So my favorite blocks, I have two of them. It's either pulling on where a tackle pulls, plays like that, and then going down the linebacker, because a lot of the time those linebackers are reading the guards and they're paying no attention to me. So as soon as I come down and hit them, they're not expecting it.
Absolutely. I love it. And I've watched you and Ty work so well together. Is there some special chemistry everybody needs to know about between you and Kai, as far as the time y'all have spent with each other? Y'all have learned to read each other's minds?
Well, as this being my first year starting, he's trying to show me what it's like, and how to be calm, but still get your job done. And he's always saying hey bud, you're doing good, just keep it up, And then we have certain calls, certain checks we make in line. That's kind of how we communicate, and we're always just trying to keep each other up.
And would you agree with the term team together, everybody accomplishes more? And does that describe our offensive line?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Let's get some fun questions in there. He is the right tackle. He wears number 53. He is Hunter Walter. Your favorite sports memory, and it's kind of funny we have you, because this is the week that can they create another memory for you?
Well, my favorite sports memory of all time is probably Tennessee beating Bama.
Yeah.
Last year. That was absolutely phenomenal.
Absolutely. What about at Jackson Christian School? You had some favorite moments.
In middle school, my first year playing, starting in 7th grade and 8th grade. In my 7th grade year, we went undefeated that entire season, and that was just a great moment for me.
Absolutely. Your favorite class tells me that in the world of chemicals, this world is going to be in good hands, because what is your favorite subject?
Well, I've got two different ones. It was chemistry last year, because, the teacher's really awesome. And then now it's probably geometry, because I got Coach White as my teacher, and he's really funny.
He is, and he's a good teacher. You learn sometimes. I had a guy named Rukavina was mine in geometry, and you laughed your way through class, but at the end I learned a lot and found out I could be a lawyer, because lawyers are good at geometry. Yes.
Really?
Yes, they are. Your favorite food both at school and home? That wasn't on the sheet. The home one is, but at home and at school.
At home, I like homemade chicken and dumplings. My mom makes some good homemade chicken and dumplings.
I've heard about that. Everybody tells me I need to get some of your mom's homemade chicken. But what about school? What do you like there?
Miss Angie makes good Papa C chicken. I like that.
Absolutely. She does. A lot of young men say, do you play any other sports?
I do not.
Okay. And you have one really outstanding hobby. What is it?
A hobby?
Yeah.
I like working on my truck.
You like working on your truck, and that is your fun fact. That now, people want to know, and it's important, we're at a great school that builds character and has fine young men and young ladies there. Your favorite Bible verse?
Philippians 4:13.
And that speaks well Sometimes the Bible helps us with coaching and as players, and if we all live by Philippians 4:13, we'll be great players, won't we? You got a quick comment for all those great Jackson Christian fans, and I have been informed by text that we have a fan in Kuala Lumpur that listens when he can or watches on Worthy Road Studios.
Well, the only comment I have to make is go Eagles.
Go Eagles. That's a good one. Can't beat it, that. Everybody in unison, go Eagles. We're going to take a timeout and come back, and we've got another fine young man that we'll talk to. Mason Vaughn will be with us. Coach Bullard and I are still here. Paul Schultz is. Let's take that timeout.
Great American Sports. Make sports an addiction. Located at 125B Old Hickory Boulevard, East in Jackson. We specialize in teen sports for youth leagues, schools, and churches. We can embroider and screen print team uniforms. We also have sports equipment, Under Armour, and Adidas clothing, and anything else you need for your teen sports. You can email or call us for all your teen sports needs. Great American Sports. Make sports an addiction.
And we are back here at Hub City Deli. The meatloaf sandwich is the featured sandwich this week. Give you a little hint, though. Either try the Beckham or the Peggy Sue. The Peggy Sue only comes in as a specialty. The Beckham, and usually Blake is here. We'll forgive him if he doesn't, but sometimes he gets here a little late. Got two coaches in waiting, but now, number 2 on the program, number 1 in your heart. He is one of our young men that will be returning, the one and only 5'10" Mason Vaughn, and here's Coach Bullard.
Mason, thank you for being with us tonight. Just a little bit of stats that go with what Mason brings to the table. Looking up his defensive stats today, 17 total tackles, 1 tackle for loss, and a fumble recovery. And I believe you missed 2 games. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Battling a shoulder injury. Mason, you're getting back in the rotation. You're getting back in the mix and being a part of a defense that's, averaging giving up about 12 points a game. So far had a lot of success defensively. What makes this defense special? What makes it go? What do you enjoy about being a part of it?
Just enjoy being part of the brotherhood, and anytime we always have each other's back and pick each other up when we make mistakes.
So last year, a guy that had a bunch of interceptions, kind of Johnny on the spot for us, and you've been close to a couple this year so far, and I know you're going to make a big play for us down the stretch. What is that preparation? Is that just being where you're supposed to be? What do you attribute that success to?
I think it's a little bit of both. The coaches prepare us very well for every game Friday, and then just being where you're supposed to be too. So
you've played kind of a little bit everywhere on defense. You've settled in at safety. What's your favorite position on the defense, and is safety where you feel most comfortable?
My favorite position is safety, yeah. That's where I feel most comfortable right now.
Coach?
Well, you like playing wide out also, but I'm going to jump back to last year when he wasn't hurt. He was one of our interception leaders, and I think you and Jack led the team in interceptions last year. But it's not all about interceptions. Sometimes it's knocking passes down or discouraging that quarterback from even throwing your way.
That's right.
Now, let's get down to some fun things. First of all, and it's not fun because he's had the shoulder injury, Mason's a very good golfer. And I want to mention him. And our golf team did well at the state tournament. I believe they finished 5th at the state tournament.
I believe so.
And that's some stiff competition, especially in Division IIA. You won't find any better competition there. And Mason, you're looking forward to playing a little golf next year too, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Got to get that shoulder healthy.
Yeah.
We're going to do that. Now, 5'10", 155 pounds. We got to put a little more weight on, don't we?
Yep.
Boy, that's not a fun question, is it? But he will. And how long have you been at Jackson Christian?
I've been since pre-K.
Pre-K. And, of course, your favorite sports memory, and I think that takes care of your Jackson Christian memory, but what is it?
Probably beating USJ this year. That was real fun.
That was fun. I enjoyed watching you guys. Y'all did all the hard work. Favorite class and teacher?
Favorite class is probably English class.
And who's your teacher in that class?
Miss Caroline Wright.
Caroline Wright. And The food situation, it's not on the chart or anything, but we have the home food or eat-out food. First of all, what's your favorite school food?
Favorite school food is probably the chicken Alfredo.
Oh, that we've heard that too. These young men have good taste, Coach. And, of course, when you're out away from school, I understand you eat a ton of this food.
Mexican.
Mexican. And you actually play, we've already exposed it, another sport, but his hand-eye coordination, what do you attribute this hand-eye coordination in golf and football to? You born with it, or did you work to develop it, or do the old quarterback exercises? And folks that don't know, in middle school, Mason had to play quarterback, and he did a good job of it. He could have played. He's Swiss Army knife. I like that. I've used that term before. He can play anything. But how did you develop, or like I said, is this a God's gift?
I think it's a God's gift, and then just practicing all the sports I play and stuff like that.
Absolutely. Now, you have 2 hobbies. One of them is golf. Tell me something fun about golf now. You like? Would you rather have a hole-in-one or make a 40-foot putt?
Probably have a hole-in-one.
Hole-in-one. I'm with you on that. What's your other hobby?
I like working out.
Yeah. Pretty good program y'all got. Coach Irvin does a good job, doesn't he?
Yes, sir, he does.
He does. Where are you on the Pounds Club? I'm going to be nosy.
On the what?
On the Pounds Club. I know that Hunter he's a member of the 1,000-pound club. Are you a member of that club too?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I will be, though.
But remember, folks, now he's a young one. He's younger than Hunter. It takes a while to get there, doesn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now, Tristan Nash had a goal. He wanted to outlift his brother. Would you like to pass Tacker too?
If I can, that'd be great. I know Tristan will, though.
I believe in you, though. Now, you can do anything you put your mind to. Now, you have a fun fact about you, something you really like.
I like cats.
You do. How many cats do you have?
I have one.
You have one. Now,
yeah.
What kind is he?
I don't know. He's an outside cat.
Outside cat.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like mine. Mine's a Heinz 57 cat. He's 57 varieties and all that. And, Coach, you got any other questions?
I do.
Okay, I thought you did.
I do. And, Mason, we talked about this with Coach Palmer. 8-0 is, the best start that Jackson Christian football has had. But, you said something earlier, or maybe it was Hunter, taking it a day at a time. What do you do when you're having the success that we are, and we're fortunate and you guys are doing a great job? What do you have to do on a daily basis to understand that it's a what can you do for me now mindset, and what are you going to do in November and hopefully December to keep this rolling?
Well, you have to not get too high or too low, and then we can't be satisfied from where we are right now. We're not done yet. So,
every day you go out and you practice, and it can kind of become a little bit of a grind, and that can become challenging. Are there guys that are being vocal and kind of taking the leadership role and just saying, let's come out here strong, focus, and get it done, or is it mostly just watching guys go about their business, more about what they're doing, not as much as what they're saying?
Well, one guy, Kyle Wyatt, if we're slacking defensively or anything, he's always the first one to kind of hold everybody accountable.
Mason, you have done well. We enjoy it, but your chance at a final word, what do you need to tell all those fans listening, including the guy in Kuala Lumpur?
Just thank y'all for the support, and go Eagles.
Absolutely. Go Eagles is the word. We will see you Friday night, and maybe you can get me an interception and wave at me when you get it. Anyway, there he is, one of the nicest young men you'll want to meet. Coach Bullard's also a nice young man. I'm a grumpy old man, but we're here at Hub City Deli, and we've got the professor himself, Tony Schutz, fixing to come up, take that 30-second timeout. We'll be back with more.
The best thing to order is when you are sitting at soccer practice, order it through your phone while you're sitting there, and then you go and pick it up.
But you're much more of a planner than me.
I am.
And that's what I love about you.
Yes.
I'm not that prepared. It's more seat of my pants.
Downtown is thriving, and the Blacksmith Restaurant is leading the pack. From the rustic dining room to the unmatched patio, eating local with family is what we're about. Live local, eat local, relax local.
Back at Hub City Deli, and a gentleman I like is fixing to come on. You got time. You got about 30 seconds right now before I finish talking to call 15 people. Tell them that Tony Schutz is here. Coach Brian Bullard with me. We're on the Eagle Show. You've already heard two outstanding young men. And I'm going to tell off on Tony before Coach starts. Tony started as a young man in basketball up in Crockett County. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tony. And then we'll talk a little more about that. He learned his trade of coaching as a young man against some venerable old sharks that he had to coach against, and he did a good job. But one of the nicest young men, he, his wife, and his son are wonderful people. We're glad to have him on the show. And, Coach, I'm going to turn it over to you, and then I get the second shot at Tony.
Absolutely. Thank you. And Stephanie Schutz says, hey, Coach. So they're watching at the house, I guess. So thanks for being on with us. And we wanted to catch you and Coach Teichman before basketball got rolling, because it becomes a challenge to find a night where you guys can be here, and we're thankful that you guys are here. Let's talk first about last year. 17-9, you returned 4 starters from that team. Lose Trinity Brooks. I was kind of looking today and making sure I was right on that. Just a lone senior. So talk about that being your first year and what your experience was like with these girls and winning 17 games. Impressive with that group.
Well, the biggest thing is trying to get to everyone to know each other. I was new to the young ladies, trying to find the right personnel and them getting to know me and vice versa. So, and bringing in a new system, the way we like to play was kind of maybe at a faster pace than they were used to, playing more of a matchup zone that I learned from Coach Meyer and kind of tinkered around with it a little bit, net, and it was just totally different for them. But as the season went along, they started understanding a little bit better and just had what I call a good year for under all those circumstances and the injuries that we had. We had key injuries. We had key injuries throughout the season, and getting a couple of those girls back. And also we had girls to play that were hurt and still, and were out there. So I was really, really proud of what we did and expecting better things this year.
I don't know that I've ever been Coach and I got to call a lot of your games. I don't know that I've ever been around a program that dealt with sickness and injuries and the whole nine of what your girls went through. But just to show the tenacity there to play hurt and to play sick and all those things and still, have that success. So really, I know you were proud of them, and we talked a few times about that. So moving into this year, talk first about your seniors and what kind of leadership and what you're expecting out of those girls.
Just looking back at this summer camp, you could tell just a big difference, that the way they played, they understand what we're trying to do now. But you got Lily Barnes, who I call a utility weapon. She can do whatever you need for her to do, and just a hard worker. You got Taylor Baines, who came off a major injury last year with maybe a sort of a back fracture or whatever, missed the summer stuff that we did last year. We got her, and she looked really well this summer. And Elena Yarbrough. Elena is just a good post player that plays hard, rebounds, and just an outstanding athlete. And they just give you your best. And you can't, as a coach, those are the type of seniors that you want when you're getting ready to go to compete, like we're going to compete this year.
Have you had many players play harder than Elena?
No. Elena plays hard. And I tell you, I know we're talking about seniors right now, but, man, that test little is like the toughest little thing. I tell her all the time, if I could go to battle with 10 girls like her, I would like for them to be a little bit taller, but
that's right.
That girl goes to war and plays hard. And as a coach, when you get players like that, everybody else kind of has to to fall in line and play with that same intensity. But, yeah.
So speaking of that, and let's go down juniors and run down some of your underclassmen that you got a solid junior group, as we have a solid junior group in football and baseball. It's just a really good class overall. Talk about some of those contributors coming back and maybe what you expect from – give us somebody that we might need to look out for.
Oh, Gibson Borkin. Gibson played hurt all last year with ankle, back, and Gibson can be big time. You know, once she understands what she's capable of doing, and I'm looking for a big maturity jump from her this year, but I think Gibson is going to be one to look out for. Getting Riley Bradford back, who was coming off an ACL injury, looked really well in camp this summer. We had open gym today. I was watching her shoot, and she was knocking them down. We've already talked about Tess and what she means to us. Hopefully getting Carly Holt back right out around Christmas. I thought she was really getting ready to take off last year, was shooting the ball well and doing some things, and then unfortunately we had another ACL injury. Help me out, Coach. I know I'm leaving one more junior out that
I'm trying to think along. Blakely Melton.
Blakely.
Yes,
Blakely. We lost her last year up at Westview in the Christmas tournament. Broke her hand, lost her for the rest of the season, and she was getting ready to come around too, because we had her plugged in to take Carly Holt's place. So those are the kind of things that happened to us last year. And like you said, Coach, you know, I've been doing this for a long time and had injuries, but never had them like that in succession and stuff like that. And when you don't have the numbers, you know. And another player that if we can just get her to understand her role as a junior, that I think is really going to be able to help us this year is Addison Gosling. We watched her in camp this summer. The thing is about coaching, you know, you just have to get everyone to understand their role and what their role is. You know, I always used to tell my girls this, you know, you go to a movie, you go to see Robert Redford. Now I'm dating my age now. But then there's some, you know, supportive actor that steals the show. And when you leave the movie, everybody's talking about that person. And when everybody understands that and work their role, that's when your team comes together and you got not only an outstanding movie, you have an outstanding team.
Absolutely. Coach.
And, Tony, I'm going to ask you one favor. If you'll move this just a little closer to your mouth.
Well, I'm not used to all this.
Yeah, you're not.
You were teasing me about signing autographs and doing. I don't used to doing these TV shows.
Oh, he's this celebrity, and I love his shirt. I got to get me one like that now. That's got that Script Eagles on there. Let's talk about some of these things. First of all, correct me if I'm wrong. Y'all open November the 14th, right?
Yes, sir.
And that's a big night because we've got a team that sometimes they're up, sometimes they're down, and we're playing West Carroll like the boys are that night.
Yes, sir.
And you never know what they are going to do. But last year I thought it was a couple of things. Number one, it was rumored that Alan Alda of MASH was in the crowd one night. We had so many injuries, but you had a good contribution of next lady up.
Right. You know, just thinking about Jenna Tinsley, who played a lot last year, came off the bench to knock down some shots had a good summer camp. So, yeah, you always try to find a silver lining in anything, that adversity, as we talk about with the girls all the time. You know, although we had a lot of players hurt, we had a lot of players to get playing time that's going to be able to help us this year.
Absolutely. Now, a couple of influences, and I want you to address both. Both of us know what an influence Don Meyer had on you, had on me. You also had a book that you bought that influenced your defensive pattern by a guy named Huggins. Address those two gentlemen a little bit.
Well, you know, as a coach, you know, you just try to you just find people that you admire and what works and what's a little different, you know. Bob Huggins, you know, we kind of took what Coach Meyer was doing with his matchup, and then we went to Bob Huggins, where you just tried to what's the word I'm looking for? Where you just basically cut the floor in half.
Yeah.
You know, where you just try to force everything baseline, no middle. And another coach that I studied a lot back in the day was from Temple, John Chaney.
Yes.
And the coach from NIA that won like 4 consecutive, Jerry Finkmeyer.
Yes.
And I was in his hotel room one night when they were playing, and he just asked a question: what is the weakest skill in girls basketball? And it's passing.
Yes.
You know, so I know a lot of the things that we do is a little unorthodox to, you know, the way people play, but it's a little different. I think it's fun. It makes it hard for the other team to run the offense that they work on every day. We try to get you where you just got to go out there and you got to play basketball.
Absolutely.
And do something that you don't do in practice every day. So it's been successful, you know, for us. So, but you're right. I'm kind of rambling right now. But Coach Meyer and Bob Huggins, you know, those guys were just great defensive coaches and learn a lot of good things from them.
Absolutely. Coach and I want to talk to you sometimes either after your game or if you're there during the boys' game, but you're welcome after you talk to the girls. They're most important. Tony, we have an important tradition. It is your turn to say anything you want to the Eagle fans.
Well, the biggest thing I just want to say is just come out, support these young ladies. They play hard. They play the right way. And I'm excited from what I saw this summer. I'm excited about this season, and I think if we don't have a rash of injuries and everything, I think I'm looking forward to an exciting season.
I'm looking forward to it, too, because I know how you coach. I've had to coach against you, and just like David Sisko, Ray Gehring, and Fred Garrett, and you and I will talk about that a little more one day. This is one of the finest young men. He's married to a wonderful lady, and his child is so mannerly and does so well. Tony, we are proud to have you at Jackson Christian.
Thank you. I'm proud to be here.
And
thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. We're going to take a timeout. When we come back, he's a little bit taller than I am, but not much. Kyle Teichman, the fine boys coach, will be with us. Had an accident and in need of repairs? If you're being towed, make sure the driver knows where to take it. David White Body Shop to expedite the repair process. David White Body Shop has been in business over 42 years. They have factory-trained certified technicians, and they are a direct repair shop for most insurance companies. They make sure your vehicle is repaired to manufacturer's recommendations. Always insist on the professionals at David White Body Shop. And we are back for the next to last segment, but he is not last in your heart, a young man that I've grown very fond of, but actually before he ever got to Jackson Christian School. Had a great career in Middle Tennessee, and we won't go back that far tonight, but a great job. Freed Hardeman was blessed to have him, and Coach Jason Shelton, if he was here, would tell you the same exact thing, so I'm kind of speaking for Jason. But what's happened is each year he has gotten better and better and better. I don't think you'll find anybody that teaches man-to-man defense any better. He eats it, breathes it, sleeps it. But he has time for his family, even if he does teach a lot of man-to-man defense. And it's Kyle Teichman, and we're going to let Coach Bullard loose with him for a minute, and then we'll ask him some final questions.
Coach, thanks for being here. We could have got Coach Shelton to call in, but we don't have we need 2 hours, so we don't have enough time for that. But you're following a really good coach in front of you there with Coach Schutz, and we just ran down his team and kind of last year, and we'll do the same for you. And I mentioned this earlier. We wanted to get you guys on sooner before you guys got really busy into your season, and we wanted a chance for the audience to hear a different perspective and hear you guys talk. And anytime we can talk about our teams, it's awesome. And I know you love doing that. So let's get to it. Last year, 19-8, almost got to 20 wins, 3 returning starters, and Aiden Shaw, Jay Mosley, and Co. Vargason, who I'm gonna let you talk to him about him here in a little bit, but I'm excited about Co. Talk about a couple guys that you're going to miss and what they kind of brought, and talk about those 19 wins and what went into all that.
Yeah, we had 5 seniors that meant a lot, and they all played different roles. But just from the depth and the competitiveness in practice, having that many bodies and that many different guys to just keep pushing each other and getting better. DJ Traylor, what he did defensively, Coach Joe gave a great introduction, but what he did when he was guarding somebody that had the ball is almost impossible to replace. He would pretty much eliminate whoever the other team's best player was. So that's going to be a challenge. Like you said, it was an unbelievable year. 19 wins was the most that we've had at Jackson Christian on the boys' side since 2011. Finished second in our league, did some really special things, and got really close to going to that next level, to that sub-state round, and that's kind of where we left off, and that's been our motivation this offseason, is to try to take that next step and be one of those final 12 teams across the state competing for that gold ball.
Yes, and you talked about some guys that have graduated and moved on and what they contributed, and I don't know that I've ever been – I talked to Coach Schutz about I've never been a part of seeing a program with so many injuries. With his and with you guys, the close games that you might have lost the year before, in last year you just turned the corner. You're getting there. You talked about it. You're not all the way there, but you're turning that corner to having guys that can close those games out. And what do you attribute that to? And is it growth? Is it maturity? Just having a guy like an Aiden Shaw that just makes winning plays, a guy like Jalen that makes winning plays. You could go down the roster and talk about that.
Yeah, I think it all, the better players you have, the more successful you're going to be. So we have some pretty good players, but they, we'll talk about it more, they work really hard. We could spend the whole time talking about what their day looks like, and it's they're some of the hardest working people you'll find doing anything. These guys love it. They eat, sleep, and breathe it. And last year we did kind of start to see some of the fruits of that, where it was 2 years ago, 1-point loss. Now we're finding ways to win those games. And they really care. They care, and when you put that much into it, you just you give that much more in the games. And I think they just play really hard. And when you play harder than the other team, you're going to have a chance to win. I think most nights we do that. And you hit on something I wanted to mention too. I'm at school late a lot of nights, especially in the wintertime, doing lessons and different things. And you see an Aiden Shaw in there till 7 or 7:30 after y'all's practice, and you've got Trinity the next day. And I go to him, and I'm like, Aiden, go home. And he's like, Coach, I'll be good. And you go out there, and the next day you watch him. And he performs and does it at a high level. And I don't know that I've seen a group of guys, they're up before most of us, and they're in the gym, and you got Co and DJ and those guys. Talk about what you expect from your seniors this year and what they're going to bring to this squad. Yeah, so you're hitting on what they call the Breakfast Club, and I've got to give a ton of credit to Ryan Yates, who's one of my assistants. He's in there with them at all hours of the morning, all hours of the night, but there's not a morning you're going to get there at about 6 o'clock where one of our guys isn't in there.
Yeah.
And it starts with Aiden. You've talked a lot about him. If you've been watching us play for the last several years, you've seen him on the court. He's been starting since he was a freshman, MVP of our district last year, way better than he was 6-7 months ago. He's a different player, shooting the ball, unbelievable confidence. Colleges are calling me, wanting him to play. But then Ridgely Reagan's another senior for us who started last year, had tons of big moments, versatile, long, athletic, one of the toughest kids you'll find. And then Ben Herbis has been just an unbelievable leader, an asset to our program, and not only what he does on the court, but what he's teaching our younger guys and showing them the way to allow us to have success, not only this year but in the future.
Coach, you want to talk a little bit about the schedule?
Yeah, you open up with West Carroll on Tuesday, November the 14th, and then follow that, man. You jump out of the fan into the fire with Union City. Wow, I'm impressed with the schedule.
Yeah, we, that goes back to Jason Shelton, where you want to prepare yourself for the tough teams you're going to play. So we're going to go play Union City. We're going to play Chester County, who went to the 3A state tournament. Bolivar, Camden. We're going to play 4A Siegel out of Murfreesboro.
Westview too.
We're going to play Westview. We're going to play Sparkman, Alabama, who's a 7A school down there. So A lot of people say we'll play anybody anywhere, and we're trying to back that up and really do it and have ourselves tested and ready for January.
I don't know as much about Middle Tennessee Christian, but that's another tough game that y'all have got at Freed Hardeman, right?
Yeah. So
that is at Freed.
Yeah, Greg Eubanks, the coach over there, was at Harding Academy for years, and we're good friends. And all, being Church of Christ affiliated schools, Freed Hardeman's been kind enough to host us. They signed a kid from MTCS last year. They'd love it if Aiden Shaw signed there this year, so kind of it benefits all parties. Kids get a chance to play on a college court and all that kind of stuff.
I bet they would. Coach, we're just about out of time. And, of course, Kyle comes up during the girls' game at halftime. He is a wonderful interview. But it's your turn. We're just going to turn you loose, and you can say anything you want to all the Eagle fans.
Yeah, we're super excited. We always have great support, so I'm not asking for that. I'm expecting that again this year. But if you want to see kids that really play hard and who have put an unbelievable amount of work in, and it's something that's been building to what's hopefully going to be a special year. I promise you, if you show up at SQ on 7:30 on Tuesdays and Fridays, you won't be disappointed in the effort these guys put forth.
Absolutely, and I think you'd echo that for Tony, too. It's going to be two teams that'll get after you. Paul, I'm going to borrow 30 seconds. Right now, practice hadn't started, but when it does, who do you expect are a couple of guys to get the floor burn awards? Because they play defense, and those kids get floor burns, people.
They do. I'm a little worried. We were so good at it last year that maybe we take a small step back, but you offset that with some more offensive production. Like I said, Ridgely's not scared to guard anybody. If a ball's loose, he's going to get it. Obviously, Jalen, you've seen if he touches a basketball or a football with his hands, it's probably going to be his. So hopefully it's too many guys to name, but we want everybody willing to get those loose balls.
That's the way I love it. Hear those tennis shoes squeaking and the floor burns and the trainer getting them right back on the floor, and it's like the girls team. It's next man up for the boys. We have had a great night. We've got to take a 30-second break, and when we come back, Coach Bullard and I are going to wrap this thing up. But, boy, Brian Bullard is just loaded with information. Hey, let's come back to the Eagle Show in 30 seconds here at Hub City Deli. Whether you're relocating into Jackson or just wanting something new and different, call Kenny Sutherland with 5-Star Real Estate Services. He can help make your dreams become a reality. With over 20 years experience and helping over 1,000 families with their new home purchases, there's a reason that he is your new construction expert and home buying specialist. Call Kenny today direct at 731-444-1164 or 731-661-9000. We are back to wrap up the Jackson Christian Eagle Show here at Hub City Deli, where they've got great sandwiches, wraps, salads, etc. Brian, we had a big week last week. We played a good football team. We had senior night for all the sports. The golf team has done tremendous this year, but the real problem right now, and folks say, oh, we're going to win it. Yeah, we're going to play good. We're going to focus on Harding Academy only. But I know Coach Reichard, and I'll let you address that, is looking forward to going home Friday night.
Yes, he is, and we were able to get Coach Reichard from Harding Academy, and we're excited about that. And he's excited to go back to a place where he spent a lot of time and has a lot of respect for. And we talked about it earlier. You have to play all 4 downs. You have to be prepared to play all 4 downs on defense. Cover onside kicks. Just do everything in all 3 phases that you can to eliminate anything that gives them energy, gives them life. They move the ball. They've got athletes. So we never want to go and take an opportunity to play for granted, and we're excited for Friday night against Harding Academy.
Absolutely. They've got a young man, number 7. I want to say his name is Cam Jones. I could be wrong about his last name, but he is an athlete. He also plays middle linebacker, and I've watched him blitz and stuff, and he does a good job of that. They use 2 quarterbacks. The younger quarterback seems to throw the football a little bit. They'll show us various formations. Some of them are ones that we use, some they use. What I caught a couple of times, and some of them were just clips of different games, but our kids will be ready. They onside kick. They go for it on 4th down, and they are fearless. They're coached by a young man that actually played for Jim Stowe over at Lexington and then played for the University of Memphis Tigers, Herbert Kendall. And these are now starting to be his kids. They played for him in middle school. Now he's just getting the first wave of them. But this program is a program that's getting better over there.
They will, and they've got a ton of tradition. Coach Palmer mentioned that earlier, and you know, anytime you're in the region, anytime that you're trying to play for seeding and all of those things, you got to come out and execute. And we've had we had a good Monday, good Tuesday, and Wednesday's kind of our day that we tie it all together with a bunch of team defense, team offense, really installing that game plan and getting it ready to go, and to a walk through, kind of run through on a Thursday. And so, you know, it's like I said earlier, we're excited, and Coach, it was awesome to get to talk to two good basketball coaches, but two good men that I respect, and to hear Coach Schutz talk about some of the influences that he's had in his life and on his defense and on his team, and I was really glad and really fortunate they said yes to being on tonight, and Jackson Christian's blessed to have those guys, Coach Schutz leading our girls program and Coach Teichman leading our guys.
Absolutely, and both those young men they build character, help the young men along, and it's not just all basketball, but there are not two better teachers of the game, but they learn from some good teachers. And Coach Meyer, I've got to mention him again. What an influence, and he's had an influence on our program at Jackson Christian when he was at David Lipscomb, and even after he went to Northern State. And that's the way it is at Jackson Christian. We got fine coaches. You won't find a coach that's not a good character person in any of our programs. Now, I think you can get your tickets for the game Friday night on GoFan. I think they're using that. I do not know if they're selling them at the gate, but I'm sure they are.
Yeah, I believe so. We haven't heard otherwise.
Yeah, and I was asked to mention the GoFan situation. We want you to follow. If not, Worthy Road Studios with our executive producer, Paul Schultze. Stephanie will be there with us, and we're going to bring you that game and then archive it on Saturday. But and we probably will be on Jetpack from there, which don't get upset. It's still going to be great quality film, but it's reworked, and when it's on the YouTube page, it's back at Top Flight there. We're 2-3 against Harding Academy, but we won 63-0 the last time. Now that was years ago that they had a 3-0 lead on us at one time, and this great staff of Darby Palmer and Brian and the rest of them have cut into that. Brian, anything else we need to know?
Yeah,
We've got about 2 minutes about Harding Academy.
We hit on this earlier, and this is another sport, but our golf team finished 5th in the state with a 2-day total score of 617, and this is the lowest total score in school history at the state tournament. Nolan Smith shot an even par and finished tied for 3rd place overall, and his 2-day total of 144 was good enough for 2nd in school history. So we're proud of those guys. They started us off this year on our show. Coach Smith and Coach Andreoni joined us, and they had a long journey that ended in the state tournament. And those guys will be back again. They're a young crew, and we're excited anytime that we can get our school to be represented at the state tournament, and they did a great job. Not as many activities going on now. We still do have flag football that's going on our elementary, which is K4, and we've added USJ, we've added Augustin, and there's a county team that plays. So we're growing that flag football league and hoping for it to be something that folks all around Jackson want to come play in. My son has a team in it, and so that's one of the big activities going on campus right now. Middle school basketball is going to kick off next week, I believe, and so you're in kind of that lull between the fall sports, football winding down to basketball, and hopefully we have a few more weeks to do this and talk football. But you're about to pick up into basketball season. And we appreciate those guys coming on tonight.
Absolutely. Pre-game show at 6:30 on the Jackson Christian Facebook, Worthy Road Studios. We'll be assisting that and archiving it on YouTube. We're going to get to watch one of the finest teams in the nation, the Jackson Christian School Eagles, and we'll remind you that any rebroadcast, retransmission, or further use of this show tonight without the express written consent of Worthy Road Studios is prohibited. It's time to say thanks for your time this time. Till next time. Good night, all.
The BallGame Blitz Sports Network by Worthy Road Studios. With over 750,000 views in 2022, we are where you need to advertise. Please subscribe to our Worthy Road Studios YouTube channel and join the other 4,000 subscribers watching local sports.
The Jackson Rockabillys, Union and Bethel Universities, USJ, TCA, JCS, and Peabody.
Our multi-camera broadcasts include slow motion instant replay, on-screen scoreboard and graphics, and professional announcers.
Thanks to the sponsors who make it all possible. BallGame Blitz Sports Network by Worthy Road Studios, the premier sports broadcast network in West Tennessee.